Welcome to the sixth installment in our series about cards in the My Religion is True game. This is the certainty card. The certainty card represents the apologist argument about how uncertain science and reality can feel. When given the choice, humans will choose certainty over uncertainty because certainty feels better. The problem with that is that some things are not certain and probably never will be. They will never feel better. And just so you know, that's okay. We don't have to know all the answers to live productive and rewarding lives. But religion has spent its tenure persuading us that we don't have to feel that uncertainty discomfort because it happens to have the snake oil that fixes it, the Oxycontin that makes it all fade into the distant blissful fog. The certainty card works like this. The apologist will ask his debate opponent about something uncertain, such as the origins of the universe. Homo sapiens cannot yet answer all the questions we have about the origins of the universe. We've observed a great many things in the cosmos that seem to indicate a long ago rapid expansion, much like an explosion. We've observed that the universe appears to still be in motion and expanding. Evidence doesn't tell us much about what existed before our universe, so we can't answer questions about that, at least not yet. The first question an apologist will usually ask is, can something come from nothing? The answer to that question is, we don't know. Based on the laws of the universe as we have observed them, the answer could also be probably not, but we can't definitively say no. First of all, we can't determine that what existed before the universe can even be described as nothing. So the question itself is fundamentally flawed. Even if it was nothing, the rules might have been different then. So we still don't know if something can come from nothing. We exist in a universe of width, length, depth, and time, which makes cause and effect an extremely important process to be able to observe and predict. But we're not very good at it yet. We have notoriously misconnected causes with effects for millions of years, and our belief in magic didn't help matters. Magic became an easy cause to which we could attribute effects, and humans really like things to be easy. What we see around us continually reminds us that effects have causes. Therefore, the effect of the universe had to have a cause, and that cause must have been God. Players of the certainty card fail to notice, however, that if all things have a cause, then God himself must also have a cause. So what caused him? And what caused that guy? And the guy before him? So the question creates an unending paradox. Of course, the debater will then call on the first cause argument. The first cause argument, also known as the cosmological argument, is an argument for the existence of God dating back to ancient Greece. It's been further developed and refined by various philosophers throughout history. The argument is based on the idea that everything in the universe has a cause, and there must be a first cause that set all of that into motion. And that cause must have been something not originating with this universe, hence God. This is also known as an argument from ignorance. If we don't know something, it must be God. Another permutation of the certainty card is the complexity question. Is all this clockwork perfection possible without an intelligent designer? Again, this question is flawed. Yes, much of our universe runs like a finely tuned clock or watch, as some apologists like to point out. I'm not a scientist, but the way I understand it is this. Non-living things are constantly changing. Suns change how much heat they emit. Planets form and begin orbiting their suns. Atmospheres experience chemical reactions that produce other chemical reactions. On many planets, particularly the ones we can observe from Earth, this process is still at this lifeless stage. On the one planet we can observe closely, some chemicals combined that had never combined before, and the temperature of the atmosphere stabilized. Elements and compounds combined again and again until something clicked, and we had amino acids and proteins. Nature tries a lot of things. On Earth, once it tried enough things, we got something called DNA, which is even better at trying things. DNA produces mutations, which we can think of as things nature tries. An enormous number of things it tries are complete failures. We don't see evidence of those failures because they die away and disappear almost immediately. What we do see is the result of what worked. When something works, nature uses it again and again. It incorporates it into other things that worked, new cells, new organisms. Then something works again, and those things get combined. That combination gets used again and again and gets combined with something else that worked. Before long, there are billions of cells in a single organism, and billions of that organism, because it's the result of a long list of things nature tried that worked. At this point, the number of things nature tries in a given century has become almost unimaginable, and we're still only at the non-vertebrates. All those billions of molecules of DNA are trying new things all the time, finding combinations that work, then combining those with other combinations that work. Meanwhile, things that don't work vanish, which brings us to when and where we are now. Around us are all those things nature tried and discovered worked. The sheer scale and grandeur of it mystifies us because we only live for about 80 years. 80 years is too brief a period to observe this process. All we see is what's left behind after all these things were tried and failed or were successful. We see only what was successful. That's why it looks like it was designed. We've forgotten how many errors went into this long process of trial and error. Astrophysicists and evolutionary biologists are always working on answering the big questions. They're continually formulating theories and testing them against the data. Keep in mind that when scientists don't know something, they no more credit God than they credit magic or the Easter Bunny. They continue analyzing and studying, reviewing what data we have, and developing new methods of gathering more data. If we settle for an answer like, oh, God must have done it, we have abandoned the most powerful tool Homo sapiens ever developed, the scientific method, which is modeled off of nature, the thing that continually tries things and then follows the breadcrumbs of success. The method by which we become better at surviving inside the universe we occupy is the most important thing we've ever come up with. None of the other tools we've created, hand axes, printing presses, combustion engines, and hadron colliders, would exist without this tool. This tool assumes one of the most important things we know, and that is that we don't know everything. This is when our species is at its best, setting out, making discoveries, prototyping, testing, observing, paying attention. If we accept any answer that amounts to, it must have been magic, we have stupidified ourselves right back to the Stone Age. This won't solve our problems, and it won't help us survive. The next and final card in the series is the feelings card. Thanks for joining me.